In this video, we'll be covering how to do a couple simple graphs using Google Sheets. So this is your temperature data. I went ahead and I put the time in column A. And you could actually switch this later, but I think by default, Google's going to graph the x-axis right here. And then it graphs the y-axis, all the data that you put on the, it will put this data on the y-axis. So right here are the different temperatures, these are the different times, and then these are the temperatures measured over these times. So we're going to go ahead and highlight all of our data here, and then click Insert, and then Chart, and then we're going to go to Data, and we don't want it to do a column chart, so we're going to do a scatter plot. So we could just look at the individual data points over time. If you connect the data, so if you did a line, it's going to do a straight, or it's going to do a flat line like that. I guess it's okay for this graph. You can add a trend line later too. This might be okay. It just kind of like plots the points. But I think we should go with the scatter plot. And then we can now customize our graph. So we're supposed to put axes titles here and give our graph a title. So under this one right here where it says chart and axes titles, we're going to click this drop down arrow, and now it says chart title. So if you hit this sub drop down right here, you can get to the chart title, and this is where we're going to name the x and y axes. So chart title, I'll go ahead and call this temperature, and time while heating water on the hot plate. Probably too long, but whatever. All right, so now we're going to name the axes horizontal. So on the horizontal axis, this was time. So we're going to put time right here, and then we're going to put parentheses minutes. You write MIN for minute, and now we're going to give, and you can adjust these. You can make it a different color, bold. You can make the font size bigger if you want. Whatever, you could further customize it there. So for the vertical axis, this is the y-axis, and these were the temperatures. So I'm going to write type temperature and put parentheses C for Celsius. And we could add a trend line too. So if you go here under grid lines, okay, to add a trend line, we go over here to series, click this drop down, and then we could tick trend line here like that. And we want to see, what we're trying to see is if there was consistent heating on the hot plate over time. As you can see right here, it's not in line with these data points, with these 4 data points. So really the only time it had really consistent heating was probably from here to here. And if you add a trend line, Google's trying to approximate a best fit line for this data for a linear relationship. So you're testing for a linear relationship, and you could actually show the R squared value. So if you click this, it's trying to calculate, it's trying to estimate how linear your relationship is, and the closer to 1 this value is, the more linear your line is. So like, it's not uncommon to see like 0.998 or 0.9999 for like a almost perfect linear relationship. So here it's not quite linear. So in the questions, it's going to ask about this, like what data points throw this line off. So you want to talk about these two right here, and then you want to give reasons why this one might be lower as well. So a couple of reasons are the hot plate might have been heating up right here, and maybe it wasn't at a fully consistent release of heat. Also, it could have been a little bit hotter next to the hot plate, and maybe not all of the water was heated thoroughly. There could have been like cold spots in the water where the thermometer was. So here, probably all the water in the beaker was around the same temperature. But here, you're getting close to water's boiling point, so that explains why these two are flattening out. In fact, if you continue this past 14 minutes, it's going to flatline right here at 100 at its boiling point. And we cover that topic, actually, phase change, and why the temperature stalls like that during a phase change. All right, so that's you could actually move this to a Google Doc from a Google Sheet. So you let's unhighlight our graph. So let's highlight our graph, and then click Edit, and then Copy. Now I can't open another software program like Microsoft Word. It won't work like that. You have to copy paste it straight to a web or another Google program. So we're gonna go back into this tab because I still have my drive open. So I'm gonna go to this tab and go New and Google Docs. So I'm gonna open a new Google Doc. And remember, I copied. I went Edit, so I highlighted it. I went Edit, Copy, and I'm gonna go to my new Google Doc, and then I'm gonna hit Control V. Or actually, let me just hit Edit and then paste right here. And it's going to ask if I want to link it to the spreadsheet. I don't need to do that. I just want to print these out, so I'm going to paste it here. And then I could adjust the size of this graph so I can make it smaller if I don't want the whole thing. Okay. There we go. I'm going to go down a little bit and put the next graph here. So back to the spreadsheet. And here's the stone graph. So this one's just a basic one. I'm practicing a bar chart. So I'm going to highlight it, insert chart, and Google's suggesting a pie chart. It tries to give its best suggestion. So I'm going to go here for chart type and choose bar graph. And it puts stones on the X, and it put the masses right here. So we're going to go ahead and title that. So go here to customize chart. No, not chart style. Chart and axis titles like we did before, and you give it a title. So I'll just put masses of stones, and now just drop down again, and I'm gonna title the x-axis. So these were the stones, and now give the y-axis. These were, this is mass, and the unit we used were grams. Okay, so that's done. And then I'm going to put this on that same Google Doc, so I copied it. I put my cursor below it, so this one, so I could fit it right underneath. Edit, paste, and it's asking me if I want to link it to the spreadsheet. I don't really need to do that, so I'll make it the same size to make it look nice. And then that's all you need. Okay, you could, obviously adjust these whatever size you want. And that's it. That's how to use Google Sheets.